Right here you can see the garage jack points and then the safety stand points. Safety stands is where you put your jack stands. And then the garage jack point, that's where you put your garage jacks. So you don't stick a jack on the side of the car like a NASCAR. Okay, and then there's your tow hooks. Alright, before you jack up the car, you're going to want to put these wheel stops on your back wheels so the vehicle doesn't roll. Alright, now you're going to put your car in neutral and let the emergency brake down. And that's what that vent thing's for, to get a jack under it. I don't know if anybody can see where my jack's at. But there's these bolts, or I guess nuts right down there. I think there's 2 of them or 4 of them. And the jack has to go in between them. So I look on the driver's side and the passenger side to try to make sure he's where he's supposed to be. But I'm gonna try to zoom in here. Okay. You see it, screw. Well, there's some screws there somewhere. Yeah, there it is. There's the nut. Well, there's one on the other side, and you got to make sure that jack's on this metal frame part and in between them nuts. Alright, this is the driver's side. I just want you to look for these nuts. And there's one right there in the center of the camera. See? So this jack's got to go in between these nuts that are on that framing. And that's the best way I can explain it. See, I'm able to jack it up with this body kit. Just barely give a little more. The higher it gets, the more I can move the jack. But I'm going to jack it up and I'm going to slide these ramps underneath the front wheels. And this is the way you want to do it. Let's say you don't want to move your vehicle. You got it parked in the garage and you don't want it to move, but you want to change the oil. This is how you can do it. You can just jack it up, slide ramps underneath the front wheels. Alright, I think I got it jacked up enough. See that? He slides right under the wheel. Now I gotta do the other side here. I got them lined up. And I'm gonna lower the jack very slow as possible, okay? You don't want to drop it. I loosened him and cracked him. He should be lowering, but I want to make sure you can hear the jack moving. Okay, that wheel already looks like he's settled. Slowly turning the jack, so there it goes. There you go. Okay, now I can do it all the way. Okay, now pull up the emergency brake and you can put it in gear. Alright, now that the emergency brake's pulled up, I got it in gear and the wheel stops are behind the wheels. It's safe to crawl underneath it. Alright, I'm under the car. There's the oil pan. And right in front of the oil pan is part of the frame right here. And that's what you stick the jack on. Now you see those 2 bolts I was talking about? Right here, the jack goes in between those. Okay, the jack goes. Where is it? Yeah, right here. In between this bolt here and this bolt here. You want your jack sitting right here. And if you can't remember, it might be a good idea just to put some paint right here. Maybe like paint a red X or something, or a yellow X or something, so you know that that's where your there's my oil filter, and there's the drain plug. Now the oil filter, I use K&N because they have a 1-inch fitting on the end there, socket fitting, and with that 1-inch socket fitting, it makes these oil filters real easy to take off and put on. So I pay a little extra money for them, but it makes the job easier. So I'm basically, you know, paying to make the job easier for me, so that way I ain't got to get in there with some, you know, old school oil filter wrench or something to break it loose. But yeah, it just takes a 1-inch socket, goes on the end of it. Been using these for almost 20 years.